Camp trek. Thank you everyone for making the time. I'm Carrie O'Callahan. I am the Director of Travel and Logistics here at Embark. For those of you who don't know us, we are an adventure travel-based company that is run out of Portland, Oregon. And we've been running adventure treks around the world for more than 20 years. Started in Kilimanjaro and then grew from there. And we love presenting people with lots of different options. And my role here at Embark entails bringing you some exciting adventures around the world. Something that we've become really good at doing over the years is finding you the best support team in country. And I got back a few months ago from Pakistan and can attest to the team that we have on the ground there. They're absolutely amazing, professional, warm, welcoming. You become part of their family and they become part of yours. I'm really excited for this team. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But I wanted to kind of start it off the right way with some visuals of the trip and what you can expect on the trek to K2 Base Camp.
Tucked deep in the mountains of Pakistan lies the famed Concordia camp. It's host to the largest concentration of some of the world's highest peaks and confluence to two massive glaciers. To say this isn't an easy place to reach would be an understatement. Days of rough trekking, weather that shifts by the hour, and navigating glacier terrain, it's the norm. But when you finally stand here, surrounded by K2 and the giants of the Karakoram, you know it was worth every step. By the end, you've crossed more than just distance. You've lived through the weather, the altitude, the laughter, the food, the challenges, and it all stays with you. I find when I reflect on my time in the Karakoram, the prevalent thoughts are of those seriously unbelievable mountainscapes that played host to forming new bonds with our amazing Pakistani team. If you want to know more about the hike or how to join the next one, head over to embarkexplorationco.com for more details.
Okay, so there's a little primer into what to expect, and here's even more of a primer. The adventure definitely gets going right from the beginning with a pretty jeep ride to the trailhead. Some imagery for you to show you that the adventure definitely starts right off the bat, but we have the most experienced jeepers in the valley, and they got you, and before you know it, you're safe and sound, ready to get up into those Karakoram Mountains. So let's kind of get into it. Here's kind of the highlights of the trek. It is very far away and it is a very long distance, so you are in Pakistan for 21 days. 14 of those days are spent hiking, and 2 of those are rest days that we've purposefully included. As you can see from the terrain, it takes a long time to get there. It also is over 100 miles of hiking, so it just takes time. It is slightly shorter if you go up over the high pass, but we definitely are gonna need all of those 14 days. It is fully supported camping, and it is extensive glacier trekking. However, you do not need any crampons or micro spikes or anything like that, no ice axes. So it's not the kind of glacier where you're kind of ice climbing or anything like that. It does feature the astounding Concordia camp. For those of you in the know, Concordia sits at the intersection of 2 major glaciers in the region. And Concordia camp is kind of an amphitheater in 360 degrees of just these sheer tall mountains. Think Everest Base Camp, but 10 times the mountains and just a fraction of the people. And kind of on that note, and I'll drop the link to this article here at the end of the presentation, but this is an article that came out last year, kind of touting the beauty of K2 Base Camp over the crowds of the Everest Base Camp. And I have been to both, and I will tell you that I agree. K2 Base Camp is just on a whole different level. Some kind of high-level facts about trekking in the Karakorams, and that's what that mountain range is called in northern Pakistan that extends over into India as well. The trekking season is quite short. It's similar to kind of North American summer, June through September, so our opportunities are limited. And the weather and the terrain, quite markedly for this trip in particular, is highly variable. It's mountain travel, so expect the unexpected. We say that for all of our trips, but we really, really, really mean it in the Karakorams. This trek is rated a 5+ on Embark's kind of scale of 1 to 6, with a 1 being maybe our glamping in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. That's on the lower end of kind of challenge level. And the higher end is our Aconcagua expedition, which is one of the 7 summits and is a 3.5-week multi-day expedition. That would be a 6. So you'll see that at a rating of 5+, K2 Base Camp definitely ranks up there. That's mostly due to the conditions and that you're camping and you're doing it for so long. So on that note, because of the nature of this expedition, it is very, very involved. Previous experience at a multi-day supported expedition is required. However, having said all of that, once you just jump off of the dock and into the boat, so to say, it is one of the most rewarding experiences that you'll have in your whole life. It is a huge mental and physical challenge, and acclimatization is important. And we'll look into the actual itinerary here in a second. But on that note, we purposefully keep our route up to K2 Base Camp gradual so that we're allowing us time to acclimatize, and therefore our chances of success of getting to the base camp increase. We do have 2 route choices within our same hiking group. So you can choose if you want to go up and back to K2 Base Camp following the same route back that you took up. Or you can go up to K2 Base Camp and you can choose to take a high pass up over and around and coming back down an adjacent valley. When you go up and back to K2 Base Camp, it is completely non-technical. You're just hiking with regular hiking gear and a day pack. If you do choose to go up over the pass, it does have a technical component. It's got a fixed line, so you will need some technical gear, some crampons, some crampon-compatible boots, harness, and some simple climbing slings to clip into that fixed line. Proper gear and training is going to be absolutely imperative for this particular expedition. Let's talk a little bit about our base, the wonderful Skardu. I actually own a t-shirt that says I heart Skardu because I really do. It is a really cute mountain town located at about 8,000 feet elevation, and it is on the confluence of this river, which I'm totally spacing the name of the river right now, the Indus River. And it sits right at the base of where these gorgeous mountains start. It is the base for our support staff that work up there and our staging ground for all of our expeditions. It's a really important place that we use for acclimatization and rest and hydration before heading out on our trip. And most importantly, it's just a really nice town. It's a great break from the hustle and bustle and like the heat of Islamabad. So if you ask me, I would spend many more days in Skardu over Islamabad. And it's a trekking and mountaineering hub. So it's kind of a cool little town where you have lots of like kind of outdoor shops, but it also has lots of locals who are living there too. So you get definitely local culture and get to delve into that. So this is our route map for this is the way that our itinerary is put together for the up and back to K2 base camp. So you see that we start and we've got one night in Islamabad. We just need that in order to kind of get our bearings, and then we fly up to Skardu. We have 2 nights in Skardu, and then we jeep out to the little village of Ascole, which is about 10,000 feet. And from there, we start up the valley. So we have a couple of long days from Jola to Paiju and Paiju to Kaburtse. And then from there, our mileage kind of ticks down, and we're gaining no more than 1,000 feet a day as we work our way up to base camp. You will see that we have a rest day at Urdugas, and we've got a rest day at beautiful Concordia. After that Concordia rest day, we continue up to K2 base camp, making a stop by Broad Peak base camp. We'll sleep at K2 base camp, and then we'll continue back and make another stop at Concordia because drink it in, it's so gorgeous. And the thing that should be said about K2 base camp, which some people who may have been to Everest Base Camp remember, is that the views from the base camp of some of these 7,000-meter mountains are actually not as stupendous as the views from further away. So that's why we really drink in Concordia. We've got three different nights, or 3 different nights at Concordia. So then you'll notice that on the way down, we don't hit as many camps because we're on a descent and we can make up mileage, and we also choose slightly different camps than the ones that we came in on to make up for that mileage. So we have another kind of 4 camps until we get to Ascole, where we get back in our Jeeps and get back to Skardu. On the back end, we only have 1 night in Skardu and 2 nights in Islamabad. And that is on the rare chance that weather would keep us grounded in Skardu. So we have a layover day in Islamabad just for logistical safety. And for those of you who are interested in doing the high pass, I highly recommend it. It's very fun. It is high. It's 18,300 feet. But basically our whole group starts off doing the same thing, doing the same route up to K2 base camp and then back down to Concordia. And then that's where we split. From Concordia, the group going up over the high pass will take an adjacent glacier and walk that glacier up a separate valley until they get to Ali Camp. And Ali Camp, located at about 16.3, is your base for summit night, for pass night. It sits up above in this another just astounding amphitheater of mountains that's even more shocking in a great way than Concordia. It's really nestled deep in those mountains, and you just can't even believe the views from Ali Camp. So that is, like I said, one of the many nighttime summit processes that Embark runs, where you wake up anywhere from 10 p.m. to midnight, just depending on your or the group's pace, and you make your way up over that high pass. So as you can see, it is almost exactly 2,000 feet elevation gain from our base at Ali Camp to the Gondogoro La Pass. However, that's in a very short amount of mileage. I think off the top of my head, it's like 3 miles. And we're doing it at elevation. So it is very steep, especially at the end, and it just takes time. But the idea is that you make it up to the top of the pass for roughly sunrise, and see the gorgeous views from up there. And then you descend down the backside of that ridge, of that range, into an adjacent valley. And make it into camp in the late morning, early afternoon, have the whole rest of the day to kind of rest and recuperate. And then from there, it is a swift descent and only 2 more camp spots before we meet Uche, and that is where we get a Jeep and drive back and meet the other group in Skardu. the Jeep ride from Uche to Skardu is much shorter. It's about a 3 or 4 hour ride versus the 7 or 8 hour ride from the other base. So again, another night in the hotel in Skardu and 2 nights in the Islamabad hotel. What does fully supported camping look like for this particular expedition? It's pretty typical to what you may have done before in the past. All of the gear is transported and set up for us every day. You're just carrying your own day pack. We prepare all of your meals and serve them in our cozy mess tent. Each camp has bathrooms, which I'm not gonna lie, diminish in quality as you get deeper into the Karakoram. And then that just becomes a joke between you and your crew. There are actually also showers at select camps. If you would like to have a shower at 14,000 feet, you can do it. And we do carry a generator with us, which we fire up for about an hour every evening. And there, unbelievably, is Wi-Fi and cell reception at select camps. That can change with weather, but it is available. The intention is there. I wanted to kind of informally show you what camp looks like. The thing that really strikes me about the culture in the mountains in Pakistan and the Karakorams is the togetherness and the team, and you're just always invited to hang out with the crew. This is the cook tent, but lots goes on in the cook tents. Lots of hanging out, lots of, stretching session, lots of obviously food making, and everyone is always invited to come in, hang out, help prepare food if you want to. You don't have to, but everybody is just so warm and welcoming. This is our cook and our guides just having their snack in the afternoon, and everybody's always welcome to come in and snack with them if they want. And this is our mess tent for all of our meals. This is layover day at Concordia, and just go ride the horse because why not? Things are just super laid back, and you're trying to be like somewhat not active, but you don't want to get bored either. So you can also give Issa a hard time while he's trying to make momos. That's a fun thing to do at camp. Or you can play cards. So even though I'm talking some kind of intense things about the trip in and of itself, and it is very, very involved, you also do very much get into a rhythm with your crew, and it's a lot of fun and a lot of bonding times too. How does this trip compare? For me, it's helpful to compare this trip with other trips that Embark runs, or maybe other trips that other people have know from around the world. So Skardu can very much be looked at kind of like Lukla in terms of that it's weather dependent, and that's what I was talking about before in terms of our layover days. The difference between Skardu and Lukla, however, is that it's much more common to be delayed by weather with Lukla, sorry, let me back up. Lukla is the starting point for the Everest Base Camp trek in the Khumbu Valley. Skardu has fewer and fewer weather delays because they're using bigger planes now and there's multiple carriers. So it's not as much of a risk, but you can still kind of think of it in conjunction with Lukla. Again, as we've been talking about, it's very much like a Kilimanjaro, or like some of the multi-day expeditions that we run in Peru, that is fully supported camping. However, it is much longer. It's almost double the time of camping as you are experiencing on like a Kilimanjaro trip. There is a bag weight limit, which some people know from some other trips that we run. You do need to come in at around 20 kgs, which is around 50 pounds, if you're going up and back to K2 Base Camp. If you're going up over the high pass, then you pare that down to 15 kgs because we can't use pack animals, so we use porters for the high pass. This, much like a lot of our itineraries that we personally run, we have kind of curated this one so that we have a really high chance of success, and that means going slow and steady and trying not to gain more than 1,000 feet of elevation every day. And then the pass, the high pass, has one of those nighttime ascents, similar to Kili, Cotopaxi, where you're waking up at night and doing all of your hard work in the dark with that headlamp that you always love. And it's long and arduous, but it also is really, really rewarding. Um, Unlike Kilimanjaro, you're expected to show up fully kitted out and geared up for your trip. You need to really invest in both financially and mentally in this trip. So there's no proper kind of gear rental program in Pakistan, and in the Karakoram Mountains, you're expected to show up with all of the gear that you're going to need. A side note to that is if you forgot something or something happens with your baggage, there are lots of gear stores where you can purchase things. So it's not devoid of those opportunities, you just shouldn't count on it. Just a remark about that Jeep trip for anybody who is remotely, scared of heights or freaked out by, you know, that kind of travel. That's why I show the footage at the beginning, because I don't want anybody to be surprised. It's a reality. It's a reality of those rugged mountains. Glacier travel is significant. It is when you're traveling on a glacier, you are exposed all of the time. There is no tree line, there is no shade, and that just means that you're more part of the elements, whatever they be, whether that's sunshine or sleet or snow. The glacier gives it to you all. And because glaciers, we know, are constantly moving and changing, that means that our rhythm for the day is impacted by glacier travel. We're always waking up very early in the morning. It's not uncommon to be hiking by 6 a.m. Because we want to be out there and get our hike done before it warms up too much and there's too much risk of rockfall. And that also means, with the changing nature of the glacier, that the route changes slightly every year. So we have all of our coordinates and the camps that we're going to stay at, but it could slightly deviate here and there where the actual route takes us. And then finally, sleeping on the glacier, it's just cold. So you'll see from our packing list that we recommend an insulated sleeping pad. This trip does, like I was saying earlier, use a combination of pack animals and porters, which means that compared to, say, a Kilimanjaro expedition, we don't have as many support staff as would be needed for Kilimanjaro because we can use the pack animals. And if you are going up over the high pass, then it is porters. And then finally, a really important component of this trip is the teamwork component. I talked briefly about how it's team on the trail with your staff and with the guides, and everybody is just really communal and inviting and warm and welcoming. But now I'm talking about the team component of our Embark team. The nature of this trip demands that each individual show up ready to work with the team and for the team. Group goals versus individual goals. You need to be willing to put your individual kind of needs and goals to the side in place of the whole team actually making it up and back to K2 base camp. The length of the trip, the weather, the trail conditions, and the group health as a whole, they dictate that we sometimes have to make changes to the way that we come at this trip. And so it's really important, A, that you're flexible and adaptable, and B, that your way of contributing to the team also looks something like staying strong and healthy, making sure you're fueling your body properly, hydrating yourself properly, and practicing proper hygiene so that you don't get sick. Also, side note to that is if you're not feeling well, making sure you're telling us right away so we can get you kind of back up and running, and resting on those rest days so that the next day it's go time and you are rested and ready to take on the next day's challenge. Okay, key points about K2 Base Camp Trek. It is incredibly immersive. It's a really intensive, extensive route in those beautiful mountains. And in that, it is just jaw-dropping what you will see and encounter and experience. And by that, I mean the views for sure, but I also mean the bonds that you make both with your in-country staff and the people who we're all going to be traveling with. Because it's such an intensive trip, those bonds are really intense as well. Safety is always our number one component. We always have a plan B, C, and D. Emergency evacuation is always at our fingertips, and we always do carry oxygen just in case. However, we rarely have to use it because we take our time getting there. As I said before, previous experience is required. You do need 6 months to train for a trip of this nature. There is a visa, a trekking and mountaineering visa that you have to apply for, which is kind of different from some of our other trips. And Embark helps facilitate that process with a letter of invitation from our sister company in Pakistan and really detailed directions on how to obtain your visa online. And finally, there are lots of components and logistics in a trip like this, just the length in and of itself. Pack your patience as well, because is bound to be something unexpected that comes your way. And the best way to respond to that is with flexibility and adaptability. So backing away from kind of the trip specifically, what can you expect from us in terms of our pre-trek support? Those of you who've been on other trips with us know our extensive planning and preparation materials, gear lists, training plans, video tutorials, you name it, we've got it. Like I said at the beginning, we've been running trips around the world for more than 20 years. So we've compiled extensive materials that are curated just for you. I just filmed a video in Pakistan for you going through the intricacies of packing for a 14-day trek. And so that is there and waiting for you when you sign up. Because it is required that you have previous experience, but you don't have to have had this intensity of an experience. It's okay that that's brand new to you. We do host at least 2 group conference calls, so we'll have another one here in January once the group is formalized for everybody to meet each other and to kick things off and revisit some old things and then introduce some new details. And then our final conference call comes a month before the trip starts. It's our send-off call. It's our chance to make sure that you feel that you've gotten all of the proper support prior to the trip. You have all of your questions answered and are just feeling, like I said, feeling supported. And then finally, we are a small organization, family owned and run. We are passionate. Our smallness allows us to be really responsive and provide that really personal touch and guidance that you're going to need on a trip of this nature, because it is quite involved, and we recognize that, and we want to make sure that you are well taken care of. Dates and timelines. So we are recruiting now. We have 5 spots left for our 12-person trip that we're going to be doing July 11th through the 31st. If we get more than that, then we will break off into 2 groups, but we would like at least 12 people with us for the party in the Karakoram. So now is kind of the time to sign up if you haven't already, now through November. And then in January is when we'll have our kickoff call. And then January from June looks like a little bit of a holding pattern where you're training, you're procuring your gear, you're getting all of your homework to us, your passports, your insurance, all of that stuff. And then April marks a key point. That is when you are applying for your visa, you're getting your flights to us, and your final payment. That is all due in April. And then June is our send-off call, and July is when we do it, when we do the thing. So that is a rough timeline of how you can kind of think of the time from here until base camp. And then just some further imagery to get you excited about what is coming your way if you trek to K2 base camp. And then finally, a little testimonial to round it all out.
I knew it was going to be hard. This is a challenging experience.
I was thinking about this trip for a long time. Everything looks really great. It's a good experience.
I'm here with my husband Mike and my son Landon, who's 16.
Good morning.
I think that the most memorable part for me was when we were hiking from Goro 2 to Concordia, and we were coming around the corner and saw K2 for the first time, and just how it slowly came into view.
Ow. Mike, my husband, has been talking about this for the whole time I've known him, which is like almost 30 years now. And we love traveling, and we climbed Kilimanjaro with Embark, so we figured this would be an amazing experience, and it has been.
It's been a long time coming, so I mean, it really has exceeded my expectations.
100%, it was worth it.
I'll remember it forever.
I am so happy I make this decision to come here because it's so beautiful. Like, it's just unbelievable.
I mean, I knew it was going to be hard. You're camping every night. It's sturdy, it's tiring. You have to pack up your bag every single day. That's kind of my nemesis, but I'm getting better at it because you have systems. I've come up with different systems with that.
It's been really great so far. I love the food, really good every night, and breakfast and lunch is good too.
Bring tons of wipes for your hands and other things. Bring lots of sunscreen. The sun can be really, really powerful here.
Pack more clothes than you'll think you'll need, because I just feel like I didn't pack enough.
The weather can change, and that you just have to be prepared and be flexible and bring all the gear for sunny weather and for cold weather. So yeah, so that can be a challenge.
It's so worthwhile as long as you know that's going to be part of the experience, so that we can kind of prepare for it and take the fun.
Today was gorgeous, but it was also, there were times when it was hot, it was hot. And so, you got to wear your glasses, you got to wear a hat.
We came from Urdukas, which was an amazing campsite, and we woke up with clear skies, which is really welcome after 3 or 4 days of rain. And we hiked onto the glacier and just kind of followed the center of the glacier until we got here, and the views were unbelievable. Minor, irrelevant, but incredibly dramatic peaks all around us that are unnamed, but still amazing.
Okay. That is enough from me. I've talked a lot. And I am going to open it up for questions. I'm going to put this map up so you can have a look at it. Tell me all of your questions about K2 Base Camp.
Carrie, I know the answer to this, but I think the group might want to know. Can you talk about the descent from the past? Like how it's like kind of like a rappel?
Yeah, well, this year they didn't have very much snow on that northern side of that pass. And so normally it's a steep descent on steps that they've cut into the snow. But this year it was pretty much a 1,500, 2,000 foot self-rappel down some shale rock. It was tiring, but it also was, once you just give in and trust, it was kind of fun. But that could be different next year because it all is weather dependent. It's the main point is that pass is just really steep. Yeah. Somebody had asked the question to me who couldn't make it to the call, and she's going to be watching the recording. What was it like with the kind of politics of the region leading up to that? Because there was some things that happened in Iran prior to, and then earlier in the year there had been some issues with India. During that whole time, there was never any disruption or anything that happened in this region at all. There was never any negative feelings or negative repercussions even at the time for climbers in that region. Everything was wonderful and fine, and everything was super mellow when we were physically there. Never an ounce of unsafety felt by anyone, kind of business as usual in these really remote mountains and really remote mountain towns.
Carrie, will you be talking to us all about immunizations and that sort of thing during the training?
Yeah, there's a write-up on what immunizations you would need, but basically, there's aside from the usual vaccinations that you would have gotten, there's nothing more that's required or needed. But there is a full write-up in the preparation materials.
And in Kilimanjaro, we took quite a bit of altitude medications. I assume that's the case here as well.
Yeah, we do encourage everyone to at least bring Diamox with them, and take it, either on demand or prophylactically. Most people take it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And so the domestic flight is included, right, Carrie?
Yes. The cost of the domestic flight and us, we book it for you. You don't need to worry about it. Your ticket is there when you fly with us.
How many hours is that from Islamabad?
It's like a 45-minute flight. It's super quick. But when you always should sit, I think it's on the right-hand side of the plane going in and the left-hand side of the plane going out, because you get to pass by Nanga Parbat. And it's just astounding because this is a mountain that literally is at the cruising altitude of an airplane. And you're just, breezing right by it in your airplane. It's stunning. It's so beautiful.
So right now it looks like we have Ryan Gregory confirmed, Craig Pritchard, Mary Jane Farr, Sandra Volk, who's on the call, Kelly Ramey, and Cy Wakeman, just for those of you who may know some of these other people.
Hey, Carrie, quick question. You'd mentioned that there might be some training involved for the technical aspects of the high ridge. Is that training that's done while we're there, or are we gonna probably have to organize that ourselves prior to the hike?
No, I'm talking about like our training plan and our, following. If you don't have one personally, then following our training plan that we have for you in your preparation materials.
So Greg, I think
I'll go and do Mount Hood together in May.
Ooh, that's a great idea. Or Adam.
Is that a great idea?
Yes, in fact, Angelica, who is on this call, is willing to come get some crampon experience in Oregon to prepare.
Yeah, I'm totally willing to come and do that too.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
I think the thing with the technical pieces, this is entry level technical. There are people that are going up over that pass that have limited experience. You're hiking up a steep snow hill that has a fixed line and you're clipping through in a harness, which is very entry level. So like Island Peak, maybe if you've done that in Nepal, and then the descent, you're just kind of coming down. So there's not a technical element where people are setting anchors and someone's holding you. It's a very basic level. Do you need to make the decision if you're going to go up and over the pass prior to arriving, or can you make the decision when you're there?
You need to, because you have to bring the proper boots and crampons. So you need to make it before you arrive.
And are those just plastic boots?
Yes.
Okay.
They're not even plastic. It just it can run the gamut, but it does not have to be an Aconcagua grade triple boot scenario. It doesn't even necessarily need to be a double boot, for those of you in the know, and we can get all into gear specifics kind of later in the game. It just needs to be a crampon compatible insulated boot.
Right.
This is outside of the trek, but have you guys ever used like a third party airline people that get you booked on?
Yeah, I got you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do work with a tour operator, a travel agent, and I can submit inquiries for people and get you dialed in. It's called Exito, and they're great to work with because they are keeping track of any kind of changes in your itinerary or delays or anything. And if there's any problems with your ticket, you know you have somebody to call versus like, oh, kayak.com, who do I
Right.
call? They told me my flight's canceled. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, totally.
Good.
Carrie,
And they do business class.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Carrie, can you talk about the insurance? Because I think that's an important financial piece with this trip.
Yeah, we do mandate that you get global rescue insurance because they have a direct line with the helicopter operators, and they will pay directly on site if you were to need an evacuation.
When Greg and I were on Aconcagua together, we were able to contact them on WhatsApp, which was totally amazing. And they were able to, within an hour, fly a helicopter there. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Mhm.
I have a question about that kind of training before, even if it's like, I don't know, some minimal or something. I mean, feels like I'm not gonna stop at K2, so I think I would need just training for future trips. So I'm trying not to smile, but you know, I'm smiling. Anyway, when you think it might happen?
Oh,
Like,
like we're with Embark organizing something in Oregon. Probably in the springtime. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that it's not a question of today, but like, I kind of like realize that, yeah, I'm sort of busy with traveling somewhere, so need to figure that out.
Yeah,
Okay.
you and I, we can organize something, and once we have our group solidified, then we can make plans with everybody in general. But usually when you're doing mountains like that, so Sandra, who you see on the call, she's from Portland also, super badass hiker. And so she was talking about maybe going and doing Mount Hood, which is right outside of Portland, and you typically do that in the springtime. That's when the conditions are the best.
Okay, and spring is like in Portland would be what?
Like April.
Okay.
Yeah, Sandra, what do you think? Yeah, April would be good for.
Yeah, I mean, I can fly. I can
May's
like,
a great time.
May
Okay.
or May.
Yeah.
May. Yeah, April or May.
No, May, I'm running Silk Run, so I will not be able to come, so. And I'm thinking, if you know the place where I can stay in Europe for food and place the whole June, so then I don't have to fly home back. I mean, like, just let me know.
Okay, we could talk offline about that.
Yeah. It will be the same cold as in Kilimanjaro when we hike, so we would need to have, I mean, I know it's probably gonna be in the list.
This is a good point about this particular expedition. You're going to experience everything from way too hot and the potential to get heat stroke in the beginning days to you're camping on the glacier and it could snow on us. It could snow on the high pass, and that's the difficulty with a trip of this nature, is just packing everything for everything.
And if weather is not good, then we'll not fly, correct?
That's correct. That is happening less and less. The last 5 years, it's way more reliable. But we just want to have all of our I's dotted and T's crossed, so we still do keep that that weather window in there. The 2 days on the front end, also, just side note, are also used by the staff for some administrative stuff that can only happen when the team is physically in Skardu. And it has to do with our permitting and that they need the physical passports for the local government office there. So there's some key things that overlap with that whole weather window thing. So even when the weather window thing goes away, we still need those 2 days at the front end in Skardu, which also are for acclimatization. Any other questions? Donovan, I know you have I know you have a good question.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Donovan, do you have that link to that article that I promised that I would put in the chat, and then now I don't have it?
But I'll send it to everyone afterwards with a copy of the itinerary and a link if you want to sign up.
Okay.
Thank you.
I
everyone.
haven't paid my deposit, so it's on the website, right?
Yeah, if you want to sign up, thank you, Angelica. If you are ready to sign up, then you can email me and I will send you a link to pay your deposit. And once we get that, then we'll get you started with the whole registration process. But you actually have it in your email, Angelica. It's a link. I'll send it to you again.
No, I think I do have it. Yeah, I just haven't opened it, I guess.
Okay. Okay. In fact, I'll put the link in right here. And I bet I can find that article too. Oh no, I got out of the article. Okay, no more questions? I did such a good job that nobody has questions.
We covered a lot.
Okay.
What's
Well,
what's the deadline for signing up?
we would like to see people signed up by about mid to end November at the latest.
Very excited for this trip. Sans any kind of injury or anything like that, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah, this is going to be a blast.
Yeah.
We get a chance to really get into it. I don't know if people have been on trips before where they're just kind of, sometimes I'm on trips with people who they're like crying at the end because it's over too soon. And this is a really wonderful opportunity to just really get into it and let yourself kind of unplug from the rest of the world and enjoy.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys for making the time. I hope to see some of you in Pakistan next summer.